Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick episode here of the Mad Radio Vlogcast. I think last week I was showing some video game stuff, and that is coming along pretty good. And I just wanted to talk about some things this week that have been on my mind. So I guess I'll just start ranting. I've come upon this Indiegogo site, which I've been to a couple of times. There's a couple of different projects I've viewed over here, and it looks like there is a project here that is an animated project, and it looks like they are asking for I don't know, almost 50 grand to put this animation course together, which I think is pretty cool. That's sort of different from the usual project over here, which is usually a project to sort of create some sort of original creation or whatnot. But I mean, I was looking on this page, and some of the drawings and the animation in this project are really, really good. And so I was kind of wondering why it is that this project has only raised $50 as opposed to, its full 50,000. And this project I'm looking at, it looks as if, I mean, it looks top notch. I mean, the artwork here is the character sheets are really good, and I know it's probably not good for me to say for me because I'm still working on my stuff, but these guys are in Phoenix, Arizona, and the character sheets are really good. I saw some animation a minute ago. I don't think I'll be able to play it on here, but oh, I think this might be a little bit of it, but it just seems like a lot of the projects that come through here are really, really good, and they aren't getting I had this go through with my game project where I didn't have the marketing that I needed to go ahead and try and raise the money that I needed to make this project. But the thing about it is that this is the platform for that. This is the place where that is supposed to take place. And, it just seems like if someone goes through all the trouble of putting up a project that is this good over on Indiegogo, what is the takeaway from them not really receiving any funding for it? And so it just seems like to me, even with all of the talk about the evening of the playing field and how you could just as easily, raise money online as you could as anybody else, like it's some big, melting pot or, uh, um, even playing field. I really just don't believe that. I don't believe that's true. I think that there's a lot of other things that are going on under the system, such as buying of views and different things like that. I mean, I don't really have an official theory or anything, but it just seems like with a lot of these projects, some of the ones that I've seen don't deserve the funding, and some of the ones that I have seen do deserve funding. And I don't know if that's the same way with you, if you look at it that way, or if you have a project and you just barely made it by the skin of your teeth, or maybe you had a whole bunch of friends in the industry that aren't hostile to you that wanted your project or whatever that gave you a pat on the back or whatever. But I don't know. To me, it just seems like an uneven playing field concerning these the funding of these projects, and it echoes up into the industry. Really, if you look at the venture capital industry, to me, it just seems like there are a lot of companies that end up getting funded that don't really tend to go anywhere. And I can't figure out what their business plan is, but yet it just seems like the valuation is one thing, but the in terms of having a visible business plan as something that's not just either research or just doesn't seem to be set up as a clone of some other business plan to try and sort of smash the other car out of the lane. It just seems like to me there is just sort of an uneven playing field. I mean, like earlier today, I saw a reopen close tab. Earlier today, I was looking at Animation Magazine, and um, I saw this megalobox. I don't know. I just happened to click on it, but a lot of times in the new anime trailers, there's not even any animation in the anime trailer, such as in this one. But that wasn't my main beef today with the whole animation magazine. I saw this picture, uh, in my email, and I was like, well, I love Star Trek. I'm going to go and see what's going on. But this is obviously a pic of an older Star Trek episode. Of course, it's old, leagues old, like 70 years old, or not 70. It was made in the 70s, right? But the fact is that this advertisement was used in order to plug the creation of a new series of. They've already ordered two series, two not series, but two runs, or they're gonna it's gonna air 2 years in a row or whatever. They're gonna have um, two series of this new Star Trek called Below Decks, which I recognize from the TV show Below the Deck or whatever, about these guys, helpless guys out on a boat who basically are being filmed after wave of water crashes on them, and their boat's about to explode or sink or whatever. But this is supposed to be a new Star Trek show, and it's an animated show, but it's by the guy who does Rick and Morty. Okay, so that's what really was a red flag for me, because even though in this article they say, "Oh, the guy knows Star Trek in and out," I mean, so obviously picked him, but I mean, what Trekkie in a uniform does not know, every single line of Star Trek? I mean, this doesn't seem to me to be a credible purpose for giving someone the the tools to go ahead and do a Star Trek series, when probably the guy who did it, was going to be doing it, probably couldn't even draw this good, probably could not draw, these characters here as you see them, but it's used to advertise the fact that he's going to be getting a two series. So to me, it just seems like, even though anime has become really popular over here, to some degree, and it's underground, it really hasn't affected the the attitude of executives and people over here in terms of trying to change anything at all about what they do to try and get some of the anime fans. I mean, you see things here and there, but it's mostly just dubs of something or another that is, going to be released on Crunchyroll, and I happen to like Crunchyroll, so but I don't go there pretty much ever. But I think it's a pretty good idea, to have a place where people can go and watch anime, even if they're like really old anime. But thing about all this is that there's only a few studios that you see who have cropped up. I could mention in the U.S. anyway. I can mention Fates, which is a studio. I think I can find it. Let's see, Fates Animation Studio. I'm really doing myself a disservice here. Um, Fates Animation Studio. Let's go see what's going on with them, if they have any stuff. Humoring the Fates, yeah. So if you go here, there's actually, I think you can have either been diverted or you can buy this domain. Maybe I'm being pirated. Let's see. Leave immediately. Yeah. But anyway, dang it. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I got out of there. But in any case, there's a studio called Tempting the Fates. Try again. Tempting Fates Animation. And another one called Powerhouse Animation, which is around, but I don't really consider that to be a real anime studio. But in any case, there it was here. Let's see. Yeah, they have a couple of videos here. Humoring the Fates, which is an animation studio, but also let's see if Powerhouse is in here. There's only a few studios that have really cropped up, and to me, the rest of the studios just seem to be stuck in this formula. Powerhouse Animation that doesn't really have anything to do with giving the audience something they haven't seen before, something new. It's kind of about just sort of like I don't know. Yeah, it's pretentious for me to say what something is about or whatever, or what it's not about. But um, like I say, there's archers out there. I'm not sure who does Archer, but there's a few of these animation studios out there. But to me, everybody else just seems to be stuck in the past, and older people who don't really, who want to, who comfortable with what they've always seen. Even if there's like decades of people, anime fans, who are sitting here waiting, who've been waiting patiently, non-violently for some sort of a, you know, decent platform on which to watch, anime or at least fantasy, animations, as opposed to having to always be exposed to, these simplistically drawn characters and, stupid plot lines and stuff like that. But I'm really just ranting, and there's some of those people who aren't necessarily into that, but are always drawing like old pictures of Mickey Mouse or Brutus or just all these old characters, which is fine, but and it's in their portfolio, and it's just like, well, why not, try something different, try something new, as opposed to always being stuck in the same thing. I know it's uncomfortable, but I mean, sooner or later, somebody's going to ask you to do something like that. And it just like, for some of the veterans, it's kind of like, why are they just stuck in the same, isn't, I mean, if animation isn't anything, it's exciting, and it's exciting to see something that is new. And so, I just kind of beg for, the day that some of these people realize that, we can't just be stuck all the time in this past paradigm of, kids, this entertainment is for kids, this entertainment is for adults. There's a in between here. There's a place where, all different types of animation can exist. It's not necessarily, your next computer graphics generated Wreck-It Ralph, sequel, which is probably in for at least two more sequels as far as I'm concerned. I saw the first one and I thought it was pretty good, but I mean, to me, it just seems like if you're going to do a sequel of an animated film, why not just make just an animated series? I mean, that to me, why not just kill us with the whole thing, as opposed to, okay, here's another chance for you to see, a major motion picture with the same characters, with the same world, and basically the same plot line. To me, it seems. But anyway, like I said, I didn't do an episode last week, so I just wanted to complain for you, and hopefully you will watch next week as I resume my adventures with playing and creating a video game. So, other than that, I will just keep my mouth shut and look straight ahead and not worry about the future, and let people run over me or run over whoever and do as they want. So, yeah, that's my rant for this week. So I'll talk to you later and hope you tune in.